Back again with another stellar edition of one of my favorite times of the week. It is Whitney's Women because my favorite woman is here, Whitney Reynolds. Welcome back.
I am so glad to be in the studio, and literally, I know that you guys hear our voices, but I have such a bright light. Like whenever I was, and your name is Soul, so that even explains this smile even more. I wish you could see this contagious smile, but I say that, I meet a ton of different people in the city through my show and through Whitney's Women, but you literally radiate energy and just this goodness. And so I hope people can look you up and see just what I'm talking about, because I'm sure they can hear it in your voice. But I'm so honored to have you in the studio with us today and talking about your big event coming up for La Casa Norte.
Yes, wonderful.
Yeah.
You said that great, too.
I know. I was adding in some extra la's and days beforehand, but I got it right on air. So I am so honored to have you in here as my Woman of the Week. And just tell us more about what La Casa Norte, and just so you know, guys, that means the house on North, which is where it started, is all about. So tell us about it.
Yes. So it is a nonprofit organization, and we work with young people and families who are experiencing homelessness.
So let's just peel that back, because so often when we say the word homeless, we all pull up that mental picture of what we think it looks like. But when you say young families and teenagers, I mean, this is like a real issue for families.
Yeah, absolutely. And so it includes the range of perhaps young people who what we call couch surfing, and they're going from couch to couch, or they're sleeping on CTA, metro lines, or they're sort of doing things just to be in a safe space. It also means families who are maybe living in a porch or in a basement that's not heated or doesn't have electricity, or perhaps a mom who's staying with an abuser because she needs a place to live.
Well, and that's the reality of so many people's stories, because like you were even saying, the couch surfing. Like, some people might not think of homelessness whenever they think of that, but that is a person literally searching for a bed every night.
That's right. And what we know about children and young people when they're not stably housed is that they can't do as well in school, right? They can't address any chronic health care issues. They're not their best selves.
Right.
You and me, Whitney, when we came home, I knew I got a snack and I did my homework at the kitchen table, and I felt safe, and I knew where I was going to sleep every single night.
Right.
And so our work is based on making sure young people and families have that same kind of opportunity that we had to get ahead and have the life of their dreams.
And I know, Brady, you probably grew up in the same type of house, potentially, where, I mean, it's one of those things that as kids, the best gift we can give them as parents is like stability, but some parents are just trying to keep head above water. That's where you intervene. So how did this get started?
So I grew up in a family of service right here in Chicago, and my mom started dragging me to volunteer when I was 5 years old. And so I always felt like it was in my blood. And after school, I worked in the for-profit sector and got laid off after 9/11, and just went back to my roots of volunteering at my church. And my aunt dragged me down and said, I want you to meet some other incredible people. And like many miracle stories that happen, it was like February day when the sun had not been shining in Chicago for 45 days.
Of course.
A church basement, and I met these two guys who are our founding board members, Keith and Peter. They're both Vietnam veterans, have been both very involved in homelessness in Chicago, and they said, look, we're going to start this nonprofit, and we think you should help us. Are you willing to follow?
Wow. And so they knew that this needed to happen.
Yes.
And tell me like the greatest story that has come from it. I mean, I'm sure like a lot of things just like flood your thoughts right now.
Yeah.
But what is like one of the stories that we can take away of like maybe someone that life was completely changed?
Yeah. And Whitney, I want to remind your listeners, like every single time a young person or a mom calls us and asks for help, for us, that's success.
Yes.
Because they did something today
girl.
to say, I want my life to be a little better and I need a hand up. But I do want to share one quick story about Ricardo. So he first came to us when he was 17 years old. He also, Brady, has run the marathon 4 times, and he was out there this past Sunday running for La Casa Norte.
Tag him in.
Yeah, absolutely. But he came to us when he was a junior in high school, and he showed up at one of our housing projects with 2 garbage bags, and that was all of his belongings. And one of the very last conversations that he'd had with abusive parents at that time were, we actually wish you'd never been born.
Oh, dear.
And so as you can imagine, both Ricardo thinking like, how do I finish school? How do I get a job? How do I support myself? But also, where do I find confidence? How do I know that, what is my life worth?
Right.
And so he lived with us in this project. He completed high school. We helped get him into college. And Whitney, he's now in our Youth in College program. And this December, he will graduate from North Park University with an undergraduate in teaching. He wants to teach history. He's also a fantastic athlete. Like I said, he's a marathoner, but he's also been on USA World Soccer in terms of our street soccer leagues and represented the United States in Chile.
Oh, my goodness. Well, and what's even crazier about that is not only did you impact Ricardo, but you impacted the lives that he will touch.
That's right.
His future family, the people that he encounters on a daily basis, see his story and say, you know what? There's hope for me.
Yes.
If he can do it, I can do it too. So is it actually like a physical house? Like this is like, did Ricardo seek shelter with you guys? How does that work?
So we have several locations across the city. We have emergency shelter, which means it opens up tonight at 9 p.m. and then they have to leave at 9 a.m.
Okay.
We have transitional housing, which means they can stay there for a longer period of time, usually around 2 years. And then we have other types of housing where there is no predetermined length of stay. It's based on what your needs are, what you're eligible for. We also help moms and dads and families stay in their current housing. So sometimes you have a loss of a job and you're short on rent, and yet you know income is going to come in, but what do you do in that interim?
Absolutely.
And so we provide also financial assistance to help bridge and keep families housed, which we know is cheaper, better, faster for everyone if she can avoid eviction.
Oh my goodness, this is amazing. So you have an event coming up.
We do.
November 1st?
Yes.
Yes, November 1st. So tell us about your gala.
Yeah, it's super exciting. Our theme is coming home.
Woo, I love it. Honey, I'm home.
Yes, and it's all about what it means when you dream about home and what that inspires for you to do your best. It's November 1st at Revel Fulton Market in the Fulton Market District.
Great location.
Yeah, super exciting. And like many fundraisers, we are going to raise money, but we're also going to have a fantastic time. Folks are going to be inspired. They're going to have ways to give back. And we're going to end the night with fantastic DJ and dancing.
Oh, DJ and dancing and giving back. Oh, my goodness. That's right up the Whitney alley. I love it. November 1st. So tickets are for sale. People can come. They can support. And whenever they're not just attending a gala. And this is one thing I love about the city is like the city of Chicago has a lot of opportunities to give back. And there's a lot of really cool events. But these events go back to major nonprofits that are changing the world.
Yes.
So this night of dancing, you're literally doing 2 for 1. You're shaking it and really getting involved.
Absolutely.
So where do people get tickets?
So you can go directly to our website, www.lacasanorte.org.
And Norte is with a T-E on the end.
That's right.
Yeah.
NORTE.org.
Oh, that is so much fun. I'll also have stuff up on WhitneyReynolds.com. I have to say, like, this is just amazing to hear about it. You know, Brady, I honestly had not heard of La Casa Norte until 2 weeks ago, and what I find amazing is that now I know about you guys and I got to share you with the world because
Thank
you are changing things out there. And with that, I hope everyone that listens knows now that there's another nonprofit that they need to know about, help, support, and there's many others out there that we just all can get involved with.
Absolutely. I always say, if it's not children, if it's arts, if it's family, if it's sports, if it's pets, I mean, the Chicagoland history is such a rich array of opportunities.
Yes.
And we know our families and our communities are better when we do give back.
Yeah.
It's so unique to be an American. It's so unique to the thing that drives us.
And no pun on your name, but it's good for the soul.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, thank you so much for coming in. Again, tell people where they can get those tickets.
Yes, www.lacasanorte.org.
And I want to end this with a big boom. Tell them what you're building.
Yes, so the gala is called Coming Home because in 45 days, we're about to open a brand new 50,000 square foot facility on Chicago's west side. It took us 7 years from dreaming it to building it. $20 million later, we're going to have 25 new apartments for homeless youth, but also a nutrition center where people from across the city can come and get hot meals and a food pantry. We're also going to have a fantastic medical center where folks who are needing and hurting can come and get healed.
Oh, that is amazing. And people, in case they can't come to the gala, they can also get involved by volunteering.
That's right. And we take lots of donations. We take clothing. We take food. We take toiletries. Lots of opportunities for you to roll up your sleeves and make meals. Yes. Don't worry, we have recipes.
I was going to say, as I am the worst cook ever, as long as I'm supervised, I'll be there with my chef hat on.
We'd love it. It's also a fun way to get families and kids involved.
Oh, I love it. Well, thank you so much for coming in.
Yeah, it really is an incredible organization. And, you know, I love the stigma, you know, getting rid of it, because a lot of people think homelessness. They think about the people on the side of the road that are asking for money, but there's so much more than that. There's people that need help that are actually in between houses, like you said. So it's really great what you're doing.
Well, and that's why I wanted people to visualize it, because as much as we like to say we don't hold like stigmas in our heads and we don't judge, like whenever we think about certain words, it does trigger thoughts. And what's interesting about everything you said is, like, I would have never thought about the teenager that doesn't know where to go, or the mom that might be in an abusive relationship. And that's really, that word encompasses a lot more than we realize. And y'all are out there making a difference with it. Yeah.
Congratulations. And congratulations to Whitney. Monday's the big day.
Monday is the big day.
Tell us about it.
Every season, guys, because I was told no so many times in this journey to the Whitney Reynolds show, every season I get a little emotional thinking back to my little baby that was once a dream. And now it has become my mission to tell stories that must be told. So we are launching our new season. It's called Finding Forgiveness is the topic on Monday. And what's interesting about this one is we do this internal search of, you think forgiveness is something that we must give and that person needs it, but what we realize in the show is that it's something we all must accept for ourselves in the process. And so we do this look into it. There's a live after show happening on social media. The tickets to the premiere party are actually sold out. I hate saying that. So the premiere, you got to watch it on TV, and if you're not watching it on TV, on Monday at 6:30 on Lakeshore PBS, you can always DVR it. And if you have one of those fancy remotes, I've been known to do magic tricks where all you have to do is say my name into your remote, and boom, there it goes. So Whitney Reynolds, I'm on your DVR.
When you can speak into your remote, you know you've arrived. and your face pops up. That's legit.
Goodness.
Congratulations.
Well,
new
thank
season.
you.
We're so
new season, 6:30, Finding Forgiveness, Lakeshore PBS. I'll be there. You can also get all the info on WhitneyReynolds.com or on social.
And what about this after party?
The after party. Oh, so the live after show. It will be on social media. You can tune in on Whitney Reynolds Show. Yep, Whitney Reynolds Show. And we're going to take the topic deeper. And what happens is, and you know, I don't want to steal lines of other TV hosts, but what happens live, you never know what's going to happen or whatever, because that's really how it is you have all these guests on this show that we've already taped, and, you know, we put a pretty bow on at the end. However, we take off that bow again and we dive back in deeper, and we have, you know, another 30 minutes with these guests to look at what the struggle might have been that we weren't able to pull out on the show. So what happens live is going to be really experience. It's going to be at River Roast, the premiere party, and then the live show on Whitney Reynolds Show on Facebook.
Always busy. The super awesome Whitney Reynolds. Thank you so much for coming in again.
Thank you. And, you know, thank you, iHeart, to honoring these stories of the women, because these women in Chicagoland, for all my girls and men out there listening, I know everyone has a story, and I hope that you continue to be bold with yours and make a difference.
All right. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Cool.
Yay!
Fantastic.
You did
it's
so
great.
Good.
Yeah, I can't wait to watch your show.
Thank you.
For more information, check out WhitneyReynolds.com or get social with us. Twitter @Whitney Reynolds or on Facebook, The Whitney Reynolds Show.